welcome to Money Control. This is Shraddha Sharma and you're watching Reporter's Take. Well, Karvy is already under a forensic audit initiated by NSE. Lenders, was it right on their part to lend so much of money? Let's get more details on that with Money Control's Parnika. Hi Parnika, welcome to the show.
Hi Shraddha.
So, like we raised the question, was it right on the bank's part to lend so much of money?
So, if you see RBI regulations, banks are allowed to lend to stockbrokers against customers' shares. But these are the regulations that we are talking about. They haven't been updated in a long while. But if you see SEBI regulations, they've been tweaking it here and there because misuse of client shares by brokers is nothing new for them. They've been dealing with this issue since long. And one massive move that happened in this year was when in June SEBI disallowed all brokers to raise funds from banks or non-banks against the customers' shares that are with them. So banks had so from September 1, brokers are not supposed to borrow funds from RBI from banks or non-banks against the customers' shares. So this is a little bit of on the regulations part of it. So if we look at the banking regulations, no, banks are allowed to. Then it's not their fault. They are allowed to lend to stockbrokers. Right. But here comes the important part. RBI also states that they're supposed to do a careful assessment of the lending if they do this. So, if they are to lend in such a manner, they are supposed to go through a number of due diligence checks before lending to the broker. Now, they have to check whether what is the financial position and a number of things like that. So, we don't know if banks actually followed all those regulations, and if they haven't, then definitely they're on a slippery slope here.
All right. So, but what happens with the pledged shares? Will banks get it?
So, like I said, before SEBI's order that got effective in September, before that, if banks have already borrowed, if brokers have already borrowed these loans and the banks have followed the due diligence process to the T and have registered their charge on the shares with the depository, then they have the right on these shares. But we don't know if these processes were completely followed or if these loans were taken after the SEBI order was issued.
All right. And so, what do you see the way will be ahead?
So, like we know, what has happened now is SEBI has sided with investors obviously and directed NSDL to transfer all the shares back to the client demat accounts, and that happened yesterday. But then Bajaj Finances, which is one of the lenders to Karvy, they have moved SAT against SEBI's order, and now SEBI has to listen to what Bajaj Finance has to say about this, and then again issue the order later on. Now it is said that even banks are going to join Bajaj Finance in this move against SEBI's decision. So what lawyers say is even if banks do have right to the shares, here innocent investors are involved who had no clue that their shares were lying pledged with the banks. So it is quite possible that the higher courts might still side with the investors.
All right, Parnika, thank you for joining us with those insights. That's all for today's episode of Reporter's Take. For more news, views and updates, stay logged on to moneycontrol.com. Thanks for watching.